Houston, we have a problem. Let's talk about it. So, Marquise Brownlee posted this video of his review of the OnePlus Open. And he said how awesome it is. And throughout the whole entire video, he was really, absolutely saying how amazing this phone is. And I was excited because I'm like, this is it, We've been waiting so long as foldable phone user, fans. We've been waiting so long for them to go more mainstream so we can get better devices. Obviously, more competition. Maybe Apple, other companies jump in. And we could actually have some more, competition for these foldable phones. And then at 9 minutes into the video it's almost like a kick to the face in a way. Because it's like, throughout this video, he's saying how amazing this phone is, how awesome this phone is, how, it's $100 less than the other cell phones on the market. And then he shows off this. The OnePlus Open, the brand new phone that just came out. His OnePlus Open, after 3 weeks of use, already has dead pixels on the inside display. Right where the crease is. Now, I have owned this phone now for a couple months. I have no dead pixels, neither with my Google Pixel Fold. And honestly, surprisingly enough, I've never had dead pixels, even going back to my Z Fold 3, Z Fold 2 days. But this is an issue that people have had, throughout time when it comes to foldable phones, is the durability with the inside display. And a lot of the issues is that, over time, the inside display will break down. And some of them do break. Now, as I always say, whenever a foldable phone or any product gets released in, any industry, the 10% of any product line is going to be defective or broken, right? So let's say, for example, you make, I don't know, 1 million of these phones. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, you make 1 million of these phones, right? 100,000 of them are going to be defective or broken. Just how it works. You have to put that margin of error in there. And companies do. When companies create products, what they do is they create a margin of error. They say, okay, well, we know that 1% of our products are going to fail, right? Meaning like they're going to be broken and there's going to be returns. But as long as 99%, are perfect and they go out and everything is good, well, good. But that 1% that isn't perfect and has problems, we know people are going to return them, and we're going to replace them with a product that does work. And, that 1% will be eaten up real quickly because they'll get another product and will be good. But it's impossible to avoid that 1%, right? It's impossible. Now, there are companies that when they release a product, it isn't a 1% problem. It's a problem with durability altogether. Now, this, I do not believe, is a problem with durability altogether. Oppo, this is, and he keeps saying throughout this video that this is a OnePlus Open first-gen product. It's not a first-gen product. And I know he eventually does correct himself, but you can't say this is not a first-gen phone. When you say the OnePlus Open is a first-gen phone, everyone and the mother thinks of this phone right here, the Google Pixel Fold. They think, oh, the Google Pixel Fold, same thing. Not even in the slightest. This phone and this phone are completely light years different. Now, again, this phone and this phone is completely light years different too, because this is a 5th-gen product. This is a 3rd-gen product. This Oppo OnePlus, whatever you want to call it, this is an Oppo Find N3. It is a rebranded version of a 3rd-generation foldable phone. It's not a 1st-gen product. So when you see dead pixels like this on the screen, this speaks to me of this is a 1% problem. This is not a durability problem. This is not a, oh my gosh, if you buy this phone, it's going to break problem. Because I know a lot of people are probably right now panicking, thinking, oh my god, my phone's going to break. No. This has not been a known issue for any OnePlus phones, Oppo phones. It's so weird. You know what? I'm just going to call them, from now on. And also, I'm pretty sure it's Oppo. But he called him Oppo, and I've called him Oppo in the past, but I'm pretty sure it's Oppo. Because when Unbox Therapy did the interview with, what's it called, OnePlus's CEO, he called it Oppo. So I'm pretty sure it's Oppo, but Marquise called it Oppo, and I've called it Oppo in the past. Nonetheless, though, this is, again, like I said, a 3rd-gen product. not a first-gen product. So this, again, like I said, my personal opinion is this is a 1% problem. And this is not going to happen. I know a lot of people are going to be panicking right now, like, oh, I bought this phone, and this phone's inside display is going to break. No. Inside display is very, very durable. And again, you might say, well, how can you say that for a fact? I mean, you haven't used the phone yet, right? And you don't know that. This isn't a first-gen product, guys. Like, the same display in this phone is in the Oppo Find N2. It's not a brand new display. This is not like they completely changed the game with this, right? Now, they did change screen manufacturers. That is true. They actually, that's why this phone got delayed a little bit, because they actually switched to Samsung's screens in these phones. And ironically enough, that's the same screen that's on this phone. These screens are exactly the same. So if there's a durability issue with Samsung screens, the Galaxy Z Fold 5 would be the first phone to break. There is a margin for error whenever you do release cell phones, right? When the Google Pixel Fold came out, there was so many people complaining, oh, there's dead pixels on the right-hand side, there's a green line, you know, and it was a very small amount of people, because again, that's that 1% of error. It's how it works. My problem, my concern, and my just, question here is, how did that 1% get sent to Marquise Brownlee, one of the biggest tech reviewers on the planet? And in all honesty, very, very talking highly about this product. And if you watch his content, you know he doesn't always talk highly about certain phones. Samsung especially. But yet, he somehow, some way, gets the 1% phone that is defective. And this is defective. I mean, you might say, well, that's a small little thing. No. When you spend $1,700 and you see dead pixels on your screen after 3 weeks, there's a problem there. But it's not a mass problem. It's not a problem with all the devices, but it is a problem with this one select device. I'm very surprised that he ended up getting one that was defective. Now, based on what I understand, usually tech reviewers, they do get the first phones off the press. So, for example, like this phone, there was probably 1 million phones made, at least, before this phone came out. But if like, for example, Marquise Brownlee and all these other tech reviewers, they get the phones way early, right? Way, way, way early. So when they get the phone, usually it's almost to a point where it's a prototype. It's not really actually the full cell phone yet, right? Because it's being released before the mass release of all the other cell phones. And sometimes their cell phones aren't 100% like usable to every ability, because sometimes there's just like kind of like a prototype, and they're just trying to get this phone out to a viewer to make a video to create hype and buzz around their phone, right? So this phone is probably the first phone off the press. This is the first batch of OnePlus Opens that were released, and this is also might be why the problem happened. Is because, again, this is not a million phones down the line. This is the first product release out there. So my point is, and again, I love this video till this point, because it's like, I want so bad to get foldable phones to be the norm. Because if we get to that point, we're going to see not only better product, but more competition. You might say, why is competition important? Not only for better products, price tag, guys. The more affordable phones that are quality and good, the price goes down. Okay, goes down because there's more product going back and forth. It's not going to go down crazy, not going to go down below $1,000, but it can go down to around $1,300, $1,400. The more products, going back and forth, the more competition, the more demand for these phones, the more phones being produced, the cheaper the price tags. I know it still costs a lot of money to make these phones. I get that 100%. But what happens is, when there's more product and more demand and all that, people find cheaper ways to make these phones. That's pretty much all it is. Now, he does mention in here, this does have an IPX4 rating, so not IPX8, which I think is really disappointing. No wireless charging, which I still think is disappointing. But everything else about this phone is amazing. It's an amazing phone. It's an amazing piece of technology, and I think he does a really good job of proving that and showing that, you know, in every way possible. But it is disappointing that his phone did actually, the inside display broke. Because, and by the way, if you say this is small now, this will, over time, get worse and worse. It will. This is, you know, not me just being overzealous here. This is just a fact. If the durability of this inside display on your product is breaking now, it's going to get worse and worse over time. It's just a matter of time. But again, like I said, this is not for the masses. It's for a very select few that are going to have this problem. And again, that's 1% of the units. So they sell 5 million units. That's going to be around 500,000 units. Which, again, at 5 million, 4.5 would be perfectly fine. No problem at all. If you have that 500,000, well, you return the phone, you get a new one. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.